Every time I come here, I always get these same chills when I see this bunker.
It's here, in Tel Saki, the gateway to the south of the Golan Heights, that this former tanker saved the lives of 30 IDF soldiers on the second day of the Yom Kippur War. Itzhak Negreker, a hero like no other.
We came here because we had no choice. We had to recover ammunition. We didn't get in the evening. We went inside the next morning. The Syrians surrounded us with 10 tanks. We were trapped. We received the order to take refuge in this bunker of Tel Saki to wait for reinforcement.
In this bunker, about 30 IDF soldiers are hiding. Some are hurt, others are dying. Tel Saki, a vital strategic point, is surrounded by Syrian tanks and soldiers. A few hours before, the first cannons were fired from neighboring Syria. The Israeli Air Force and Israeli Armed Corps, taken by surprise, were unable to contain this offensive.
Suddenly, a dead silence in the bunker. The two soldiers guarding the entrances rushed inside. A grenade had been thrown. Everyone around me lay on the ground. I'm the only one still standing. So I'm standing waiting for orders. What do we do now? Then the order was given. Someone has to go out now to warn the Syrians we are surrendering. And before the Syrians throw more grenades, I decide to get out. I drop my 6 grenades on the ground and my weapon before putting my hands up.
Outside, 2 Syrian soldiers are ready to shoot.
Their Kalashnikovs hold me at gunpoint. One of them waved at me like this when he pointed to the bunker. He wanted to know how many were inside. Instinctively, like a robot, I make the sign 4, which corresponds to a tank crew. Then I make the sign 0, or I knew to say in Arabic. I am the only one who remains alive.
The 2 soldiers fall into the trap and do not bother to check. Itzhak, who did not obey the order, is taken prisoner on the spot.
That same night, I find myself in front of a Syrian interrogator who spoke perfect Hebrew, surrounded by 8 Syrian soldiers who guarded me. He asks me my name, my rank, and my unit. So I tell him that I'm a tankist, but he doesn't believe me. He tells me that I lie. I tell him no, I really am. I'm part of Unit 188 of the Armored Corps, Division 74. And there he told me that if they had known I was a tanker, they would have executed me on the spot because they did not need tankers, only pilots.
Itzhak is one of 65 Israeli soldiers taken prisoner by the Syrian army during the Yom Kippur War. For several months, they will live a veritable hell.
First of all, we were in a Syrian army headquarters for the first 2 weeks. There, we were tortured. It was also there that they made us believe Israel had lost the war, and we believed them.
Itzhak is also certain at this moment that the 30 soldiers of the bunker he left behind were all killed.
After these 2 weeks, they took us to a prison in Damascus. For 5 months, we did not see the light of day. The prison conditions were really terrible.
And then, one fine morning, after 8 months in the Syrian jail, Itzhak and his fellow prisoners are informed that their liberation is near.
We didn't believe it. We thought it was a bluff. They used to cover our heads like death sentences and get us out before we returned to our cell. I started to panic because the state of Israel still existed. And then it was mainly because of me. If 30 soldiers in the bunker had all been killed, so when I found myself in Israel, I would be condemned. We had received the order to get out the bunker to warn the Syrians we were surrendering. But I, like an idiot, decided alone not to listen to the order. So I did not want to return to Israel.
The However, it is indeed his relatives who are waiting for Itzhak to arrive at the airport. As for his brothers in arms from the bunker, they organized a big party at his home in Yavne as a thank you for saving their lives.
We hugged, we kissed. I wept tears all over my body. I was able to release all this tension I had inside.
A relief for Itzhak, but not for the Israeli authorities.
At this time, each prisoner had to commit suicide and not fall into captivity. But we wanted to give it a chance and save our lives. So when we came back, we were like infected people. Apart from physical care, we did not receive anything until 1998.
It took 25 years for the Israeli Defense Ministry to officially recognize the traumas of soldiers and provide them with psychological care.
To get a decoration, you cannot be a hero when you were taken prisoner. So I received no recognition. I didn't ask for anything either. I don't want anything.
Itzhak, a new immigrant from India, who arrived in Israel a few years before the Yom Kippur War, has lived now for more than 40 years with his wife on the Golan Heights, a region he learned to know well during his military service and which he fell in love with.
The Syrians are still our enemies. Moreover, it turns out that today they're joined by the Iranians. But I'm mostly afraid for ourselves. Not the Syrians, not the Iranians. I'm afraid of ourselves, with all the problems we're facing right now. Israel could have become a golden country, but instead, we're killing each other.